Good evening, and welcome to the St. Petersburg by Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle, Hounds.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the world's forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Don't you never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is a World of Darkness role-playing community broadcasting from St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Misha Kent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Hounds, our second Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in Tampa Bay, Florida, where a young pack of Garou have come as reinforcements to the Sept of the Evening Star to help combat the forces of the Worm and help build the new Garou nation. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed in the description down below, and you can join our community by following that Discord link where you could take part in one of the many activities we have running all month long. We also have a couple new tables starting soon that are looking for players, so come join our community. Now, let's introduce our players. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello everyone, my name is Jay. I'll be playing Deadbeat, Bonar Rune, and we are the pack that don't make deals with leeches.
Hi everyone, my name is Nikki, and I will be playing Delphine Ruinspeaker, the Silent Strider Theurge.
Hey everyone, my name is Ben, and I'll be playing Raymond Gorn, the Ghost Council Philodox.
Hello there, my name is Caity, and I will be playing Aurora Rory Woods, the Bonar Galliard.
Hi everyone, I'm Lilith, and I'll be playing everyone's favorite, Juniper Camine, Black Fury Ragabash.
Pretty sure 3 of the 5 of this pack have bought drugs from a leech already, so we'll just go ahead and ignore that first comment. Anyway, pack last week, many truths came to light, some of them pretty damning, as Delphine finally became aware as to the murder of her parents and who was responsible when she went to speak with Artie, the glasswalker of the Sept. Upon doing some research, he came to learn some pretty circumstantial but pretty obvious evidence that showed that Juniper was in the surrounding area at the time of the murder of Delphine's parents, which pointed towards her and made it seem pretty obvious that she was responsible for the crime. It also proved that it was murder because all evidence stated that there was no cause for an accident that could have led to the gas leak and the explosion. We also saw Rory and Deadbeat reveal a little bit more about themselves and their history, talking about what led to them becoming the way they are, as well as how they want to make themselves better, how they want to go down a different path. Ray also learned a bit from Aspen as he continues to try and become a better leader, and he learned what their next mission will be because the pack is returning to hell. The pack also completed their rite of patronage, making Ember their pack patron. And Ray, revealing the mission to the pack, was met with some hesitation and resistance, to say the very least. But they know that that is where their direction lies. And they make preparations this week to head back to Michigan, to head back to their old sept, to head back to a history that is fraught with controversy, fraught with conflict. So let's get to tonight's story with our first scene. Raymond, you have had a particular issue hanging over your head ever since your first change. A lingering question, a lingering problem, something that you have been seeking a solution to. How to fix your friend. How to fix Jordan. Jordan, who seems to be possessed by a Bane. The question of Banes has been lingering. You want to learn more about them. And Ember has told you that there is a solution. Charles has led you to believe that there is a solution. But you have a very limited knowledge and understanding of Banes. And unfortunately, you seemed to have missed out on the greatest opportunity to learn about them. But as you've been told, the Sept's resources are available to you. So you seek them out. Inquiring with Eliza, you ask to meet with her, to talk about Banes, to learn more about them. And of course, she obliges you, telling you to meet with her one evening at the cairn. So as you arrive late into the night, with the stars shining overhead, the dark of the night surrounding like a blanket, you enter into the cairn, feeling that temperate air taking away from the humid conditions of the Florida evening. You can see a campfire creating the only light within the center of the cairn. As you cross the clearing, you see Eliza in her star-patterned sundress and a little shawl around her shoulders, seated by the campfire. She looks up to you, offering a pleasant smile and gesturing for you to sit on a small log stool by the fire. Raymond, good evening.
I'll return the smile that Eliza gave and take a seat at the spot that she gestured to. It's good to see you, Eliza. I'm glad that you were able to make time for me.
I always have time for any of you. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to have this conversation. I'm sorry that you missed our last field trip. It was, well, quite an endeavor, I'm sure you've heard.
I've heard bits and pieces. I don't really have the full extent, but for what I've been told, it did seem like a interesting field trip you guys went on.
Yes, indeed. But what can I do for you?
Since being down here, we've had a lot of training on leeches and knowing about them and understanding them, a little bit on spirits in general, but after the last mission that we accomplished with getting that arm back to you, you made mention of you guys believed at that time, I don't know if it's changed since then, that it seemed to be an infection of the blood, like somehow a bane had gotten into it. And that really caught my attention because I don't know much about banes. And if that's something that we're going to be dealing with, I would like to know as much as I can before going headlong into a situation involving them.
Well, banes are manifestations. They're manifestations of emotions. They're manifestations of urges. They're manifestations of negativity. They're corrupted worm spirits, but they're also just energy. Energy created by us, from us. But they're also drawn to us. Our study of what you brought back, what you found, has revealed many things, as well as what has progressed since then. And while I do believe banes are still somewhat involved, it has become much more complicated, I'm afraid. And I'd be happy to talk more about that, but I don't think that's where your interest lies entirely.
I would love to learn more about the current situation to be kept up to date, but at the moment, not really. Like you said, I'm very much interested in learning more about this bane aspect.
Well, let me start by asking you a question. How much do you know about banes? Have you ever encountered any?
In all honesty, I don't know too much. I mean, from the small bit that you've described, that's kind of all I really know. I have had one interaction with a bane previously before turning. I didn't know at the time, but after turning and after learning a little bit, I came to realize what it was. But I know that banes can take on different forms and inhabit different things. The one I saw was inhabiting dogs when I was overseas.
You know that little voice you get in your head that encourages you to give in to a baser urge, whether it's towards violence or towards self-harm or towards depression, towards hopelessness, towards fear. That feeling that you get that washes over you, that feeling of negativity that endless pit of hunger or that endless pit of despair. While yes, sometimes that's very natural. Sometimes it goes beyond natural. Sometimes there very quite literally is something on your shoulder, whispering in your ear, urging you forward, pushing you beyond, telling you to do those things, to give in. Why, you ask? Because if you do, if you truly give in to that urge, you can lose yourself to it. And in losing yourself to it, you are giving that bane an entry point to this world. You are giving it a vessel. And in doing so, you are letting it consume you. And once consumed, you are becoming something completely different. Fomori. Have you heard that term before?
I don't believe I have. That is a new term to me.
A Fomori is a being who has been completely consumed by a bane. There is nothing left of the original individual within. The bane has completely taken over. They have essentially consumed their entire spirit and taken over their entire body. Now, this may allow them to manifest certain abilities, take on certain features, to become slightly more than human. This is when the Bane has completely crossed over from the Umbra and into the normal world, to the world as we know it. This is how Banes access our world, well, the primary way.
How long does it usually take for someone to be consumed by a Bane?
Well, it varies. It depends on the individual. Some that are strong of will, it could take years. Some, it could take minutes.
Is this something that generally happens to just regular humans, or is this something that affects us as well?
It certainly can affect us, yes. Now, we don't become Fomorians in the traditional sense. We become something much, much worse, unfortunately. But it can affect us, and it does, but we have the ability to fight back because we are aware of it. We have an ability to combat it. Whereas humans, they fall prey to it quite easily because they do not know what it is. That is why we're here, to help them combat it.
As Eliza is talking, and especially when she kind of mentions the point of when a person fully becomes a Fomori, they're gone and there's no hope. I look a little hurt, and I'll glance at this fire for a couple of seconds and go back. If someone's still in the process of becoming a Fomori, like if we're able to catch the process in a human, is it something we can help them with? Like you said, like if they have knowledge of it, if we have the tools to fight it and help these people, how do we help them?
Well, there are ways we can assist. We can exorcise the bane from them. Depending on how far gone they are, a great deal of damage will be done to their spirit, to their mind. This may require healing and possibly even therapy, but it is possible. I like to believe that nothing is impossible under Gaia. That is what has led me to be seen as controversial in the eyes of many within the nation. Why my people walked away from the nation at large. We were seen as taking unusual methods.
I mean, if an unusual method can help save someone or protect Gaia in a slightly better way, I don't see a negative to that.
I agree. But also it means embracing certain truths. It means embracing that certain compromises need to be made. It means understanding that the worm and combating the worm doesn't necessarily always mean destroying the worm. The worm is a part of the balance. Without it, the balance does not exist. The triad does not exist. And therefore, Gaia does not exist. The worm in its own self isn't evil. It's the corruption within the worm that is the problem. And the nation has forgotten that.
Is there a better way to just fight the corruption instead of fully focusing on the whole of the worm?
Well, certainly. It's easy to tell which ones mean harm and which ones don't. Death is natural. Decay is natural. But things that combat decay, like leeches stand in defiance of the worm, but also represent it. However, sometimes they can be useful. And I know this has been a point of contention for your pack, especially in your learning. But as I'm sure you're coming to learn, things can be very, very complicated the further along you go.
It definitely has been a bit to take in, especially with all the training on the leeches we've been taught, and then learning about you guys, in a sense, being somewhat hypocritical and working with one. It did send a few in the pack to an extreme reaction. I understand to an extent. Sometimes you have to work with the opposition, I guess is a good word, to fight a greater evil or greater threat. So, but it would have been nice to know that before it was kind of sprung on us randomly.
I understand. It is hard to be on the outside looking in, and you are earning your place at the table. I assure you of that. And you will be better informed. You are eager, and maybe occasionally a few amongst your ranks are getting a little bit ahead of themselves and maybe finding out things before the information can be disseminated. But you're not wrong. You should be kept in the loop. You should be made aware. If you are a member of the Sept, there are things you should know. I don't disagree with you there. However, you can also ask. Asking questions gets results. No one here is going to lie to you. They'll tell you what you need to know, and they will tell you if they can't tell you something, or if it's not time for you to know something. But they won't outright lie to you. Believe it or not, that's not how this Sept works.
I understand. I mean, we didn't ask the question. Fair. But I think at that point, none of us thought to ask the question. So, when we were having the discussion about learning about you guys working with Spud, I did mention that we could ask now, and we can try and figure out more things by asking. So that's what I'm going to start doing more of, and hopefully they do as well, so we don't get blindsided like we did last time.
Well, you have an opportunity now, Raymond. I have been with this Sept since its beginning. Ask away. Anything you wish to know.
I'll take a moment to think. I have a lot of questions to ask, but when given the opportunity now to ask, my brain's going a little blank. The main thing at this moment that I really want answers to and I need to ask questions about is the Bane topic. That's my main focus at the moment. That's what I really need to crash on, like focus on. You mentioned that there was a way to exercise Banes, that there's a way to save these people if they're not too far gone. What is the process of that, and is that something that is readily known to the Geru, or is this something that like they don't really learn because it's just easier to fight and kill?
I have exercised my fair share of Banes. It is something I am capable of. It is something that many Theurges are capable of and can be taught. Most Geru, based off of their auspice, have their own methodology for dealing with Fomorian Banes. I prefer the approach of exorcism myself, but others prefer tooth and claw. Easier to destroy. But yes, I do know how. And have done so many a time.
Are there other ways? Maybe not ways that are taught specifically by the main spirits. Is there a way to make these Banes want to leave?
She gives a long stare. And then after several moments, yes, there is. But it is not advised.
Why?
Because it requires sacrifice. You give them something more appetizing, a better target. You are just giving them a different entry point. Trading one for another. You aren't making them want to leave. You are just simply upgrading.
So it's sacrificing someone else to save the one that's infected?
In essence, yes.
If there's a way to do it that's correct, that's safe, I mean, that seems like the best avenue to go down, but I was just wondering if there was any others, if there was no other way.
There are others, yes. There are controversial ways. You could find someone who is potentially prone and subject to a similar weakness. So, for example, if it were a bane of addiction, you find someone else who is suffering from addiction. And it is possible through certain controversial rites to transfer the bane almost forcefully into the other individual. It is a violent process, and it could be quite damaging to both subjects. Again, it is not recommended, and it is very looked down upon in certain circles.
What if you were able to transfer the bane to not another person? I mean, obviously, with the limited experience I had, the previous bane I saw was a dog. I mean, obviously the banes can be put into animals and the such. Maybe, I mean, there's the trees here that have spirits connected to it. Can you shove the bane into something not another person?
Depends on the bane, Raymond. Depends on what kind of bane it is. And regardless, you are subjecting life to misery. Is any life more valuable than another, whether it be plant or animal or person?
I will just kind of look at her, and I will not answer that question. was just a question.
I know. And a very valid question. It's a question many have had to ask. A question myself I have asked. Whatever quandary you have found yourself faced with, whether it be past or present, understand this. You're not the first to have faced it, and you won't be the last. And every version of this decision has been made before. Good, bad, or otherwise.
Seems to me that in all those situations, albeit good or bad, they thought they were choosing the right decision.
Most decisions were made with the best of intentions. I want to tell you a story. A story about a tribe known as the White Howlers. It's a tribe that no longer exists as a whole. This tribe believed they had what it took to destroy the worm. They decided to take the fight to the worm directly. They saw the devastation being wrought. They saw what it was doing to Gaia and the world. So as a tribe, they unified in force, in full. They entered the Umbra. They traveled to the deepest depths of the Umbra. And they entered the labyrinth that was the worm. Their intentions were good. They had the best intentions. And a part of them never left. But the part of them that did is now known as the Black Spiral Dancers. Garu's servants of the worm. The worst of our kind. Remember when I told you that something worse happens to us when we are possessed, when we succumb to Banes?
Yes, I remember you mentioning that.
Their intentions were good. The outcome was much, much worse. And now, the damage they are doing, some could say is irreversible, and I can tell you firsthand the damage they've done to me, to this place can never be undone.
I understand. I wasn't trying to push or go down a direction as bad as that. I was just trying to ask questions to look at all bases.
Raymond, I don't think you're trying to do anything. I think you're trying to help. You're trying to learn. I am just giving you a cautionary tale. Do not mistake my warnings for trying to suss out your intentions. I am just relaying my personal experiences. I am here to assist you with whatever it is you are trying to learn or trying to do. But no matter what, I will be very honest and real with you. And should it come to it, I will do what I must if it becomes a threat.
At that last line, hearing that again, I will harden my face and look a little angry, but then soften. If the worst comes to worse in any situation, sometimes you have to do what needs to be done. I understand, but isn't it better to exhaust every avenue possible to help others before making that final decision?
Yes. Absolutely. In that we are in total agreement. You're starting to sound more like a stargazer, my boy.
I don't know if that is 100% a compliment, not to be rude, but I'll take it.
In my mind it is. In others, maybe not.
Well, I would like to learn the safest avenue in case a situation comes up that I need to help.
I can teach you. I can even teach you how to do it yourself, although the training will be far more rigorous as you are not born under the same moon as I. So if you wanted to try and attempt it yourself, you could, but I would recommend having a theurge you trust learn it and attempt it instead. But I will teach you regardless. I will teach you everything I know, because you are part of my sept. You belong here, Raymond, as do all of your pack. We are a family.
appreciate it. If it's too difficult for me to learn, I understand, but understanding the theory and other paths, I want to learn as much as I can from you on this topic. So no matter how long it takes, if I have to keep bugging you for a while, then I will.
You're never bugging me. Come to me as often as you'd like. As long as you don't fall asleep during my droning on about these things, I can teach you everything I know. I am happy to teach. You just might have to give me a hand in the garden from time to time while we're doing it. Because I have duties around here to tend to, but...
That's fair. 100% understandable. But thank you, Eliza. I appreciate it.
Of course. I do hope for the best, Raymond. It is my hope that we can save as many as we can, even if we can't save everyone. But we can try to.
That's all I really want to do is try. So.
Then let's try. And with that, she starts to discuss the different types of banes, the different types of urges, and how they're drawn to certain individuals. And as the discussion goes on throughout the night, you start to learn more and more. But you can't help but have your mind wander to a house in a remote neighborhood in Tampa, to an individual in a chair, breathing raspily, to a friend lost. What goes through your mind after this conversation with Eliza?
I didn't expect a concrete answer. I mean, that would have just been expecting too much to have it fall in my lap like that. But it is good to know that there is potentially a way to save Jordan. That there are other avenues I could also take if I really need to, but I learned enough to put some of my worries down. And so hopefully soon I can actually help Jordan, and I can help him come back to the way he was and get rid of that horrible thing that's inside of him.
And now we move from brothers in arms to long lost sisters in our next scene. 3 weeks ago, some information came to light. Information that Juniper had a sister, a long lost relative. A relative by way of a father who she didn't truly know the history of. A father she thought she knew, but it turned out had a very, very checkered past. And over the past few weeks, she's come to learn more about that sister. Now she's come to bond with that sister. Jester and Juniper, you've had an opportunity to spend time together, to get to know one another, to bond over music, to share hobbies, to talk about your past, although mostly talking about surface topics, not really getting into the deep and dark secrets of the past. But secrets have a way of surfacing. And Jester, you've found out a pretty meaty secret recently, as it was brought to the pack meeting very recently, that Juniper might be responsible for a pretty heinous crime. But we're told to let that be handled by the pack. So shoving that down deep, the two of you come together for another meeting to talk, to bond, to share. Juniper, what goes through your mind as you come to this meeting with your sister, Jester?
I am honestly feeling a little bit lost. The events of that night did not necessarily go how I thought they would. That night being the one where I finally had a meal that didn't taste like ash in my mouth. And dealing with the wolf spirit and getting lost in the basically feral frenzy of it all has left me feeling honestly conflicted about a few things, especially with what Ember said during the pack ritual. So I am coming into this conversation hoping to not only bond a little bit more with my half-sister, but to also learn more about our tribe and what it necessarily means to be a Black Fury, and more about her philosophies and everything, and just kind of look for some more semblance of reason. Usually I would go to Stakes, but things have been tense lately, and I'm not ready to talk to her about what she's smelled on me. So while I try and figure out how to navigate that conversation, I would like to have a talk with my sister.
And Jester, what's going through your mind with everything you know going into this conversation?
It's everything is kind of getting mixed up together. Jester's fury of having Bateman so close but still not able to get him is mixed up with some of her concern at the links that Lilith or Juniper might possibly be going, and she's trying to push that down and just try to be supportive of Juniper at this moment, because she kind of gets where she's coming from.
So as the two of you meet down by the Hillsborough River in the bawn of the cairn, the scene is yours.
I'm sitting on a log that I like to sit on and contemplate life and things while I look into the stream. And I'm just kind of humming a song to myself quietly as I look out into the water.
I'll walk up, point to the log. The seat taken?
I look up at Jester. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you can sit there, and I'll scooch over a little bit.
I'll plop down, give a long sigh. How's life?
Oh, living the dream. How have you been doing?
There's a lot going on, and it's just kind of exhausting, honestly.
Yeah, I heard that you guys might have found some sort of cure for the plant thing going on, and that's why we gotta go up to Michigan.
Yeah, it worked on a person, but we've still got a long way to go in figuring out how to help a lot of people, or the amount of people that may have been infected. And we're still trying to work out how to destroy the plants on a larger scale, because it looks like just cutting them doesn't work. They just grow back. So you have to literally remove every single one from the root up.
Yeah, it's an absolute shit show of a situation. What else is going on? You said everything's exhausting. Are you okay?
My days are pretty packed. Let's just say probably get about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in the city. Plants, trying to clean up parks, that's me. As well as the leeches that we have in the city being still a problem. They seem to be on the streets trying to vie for who's going to be in control of those streets. And so stopping that is tiring. It's just, there's a lot to do, and would be nice to take a break, but really can't at this time.
Well, is there anything that I can help out with and maybe get you a night or two of some extra sleep or anything? That's a lot. I mean, I know that we're going up to Michigan here pretty soon, but when we come back, I can help out with like your part of things for sure. That's what sisters are for, right?
I don't know. I've never had a sister before. Well, I've had someone I consider like a sister, so yeah, I'd say so. Well, I know you guys have been assigned cleaning up to the park around here, around the cairn, but if you ever want to tag along, I go to multiple parks around the city trying to clean them and make things more livable for the creatures there.
Yeah, I'd love to help out at more parks. it helps that I work here, so I can do the responsibilities and stuff, but not everyone in my pack in particular likes to do them, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'd love to come out and help more.
So, how are you feeling about going back up to Michigan? I know I've heard that there are some people that are probably not going to be happy about it.
Ooh. I shift a little bit and look down at the ground and just give like an oh buddy look towards the grass. Yeah. Things did not end particularly well up there, and I'm still a little bit upset about the whole thing, but I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't think that I would be able to go back for a lot longer, and so to be given the opportunity to go back to home, I think it's going to be nice for me, but I know with some of the others, it's not just the city, but actual hell. It seems like it's going to be a nightmare for them. So,
What was it like up there, at least in your opinion?
Well, it's not as disgustingly hot, though it is just as humid. So, there's that. But I really love Michigan. There's an earthiness to it that's hard to describe, but it just, where I lived in Manistee and even hell, there's this level of peace that you get from not living in the middle of a crazy busy city. And I don't know, there's something about the land up there that's just, there's like a little bit of spookiness to it that gives it like a whimsical nature. Like even before I became a guru and learned about the Umbra and everything, you could just tell up there that the earth is alive and it's welcoming. At least it was to, and I look at her and look back down, our family.
Sounds nice the way you describe it. Honestly, I have similar feelings from for Colorado. You could go for miles and miles without seeing a city, especially when you get up in the mountains. And it's just trees and rocks and cold, clean air.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean about the air. You know, maybe once things have calmed down a little bit, we could take a little trip up there. Back up to my hometown. I think it would be cool for you to see Lake Michigan.
I'd like that. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Kind of speaking about home and stuff like that. Can I be honest about something with you?
Sure. Of course. I'd rather you be honest with me about things.
I don't really feel like I'm at home, like within myself, if that makes sense. And like within, I guess, within our tribe. I don't know. I've been kind of struggling with figuring out more where I'm placed in all of this and why I was chosen to be a Black Fury or whatever. And I don't know, I don't have anybody to talk to about that. So I kind of been meaning to ask for a little while now, like what your thoughts on being a Black Fury are and like what it means to you and I don't know, stuff like that.
I'll laugh for a moment. Well, first let me ask, what do you know about Black Furies, us, and Gorgon herself? Like, were there any of the tribe in the Sept in Hell that told you anything?
I wasn't told much. I was given a lot of space up there to process through everything. How I'm talking now, like us talking right now, is more than I talked pretty much my entire time up there at the Sept in Hell. So, yeah, wasn't told entirely too much. And it's really blurry, but there are parts of my first change that I can remember where I saw Gorgon, but I can't really remember like what we talked about.
That's kind of common for us. It appears Gorgon likes to choose her champions. That doesn't mean other people can't choose to become part of the tribe, even if they haven't seen her or she hasn't chosen them, but a lot of us are chosen by her. So we tend to see signs of it.
I see.
Usually, especially her favorites. Do you know the myth of Medusa? It's the most common of Gorgon stories.
That's the one where like a woman was cursed by a goddess for being beautiful or something, and then she was like treated like absolute fucking shit and was forced to have like snakes as hair.
Not exactly, no. So there was this priestess of Athena, who was the goddess of wisdom in Greek mythology, and she was violated by Poseidon, the god of the sea, in the temple of Athena. Instead of Athena bringing the shit to Poseidon, who was the person who did the wrongdoing, she cursed Medusa. And yes, Medusa grew snakes, and her eyes turned people to stone when they looked upon her. There's several versions. Like, some say that Athena changed her into that so that she would never be same thing would never happen to her again. But the most common story is that it was a curse.
Wow, that's fucking awful.
Right.
Man fucking got away with that.
She chooses us because we sometime in our life somewhere, somehow, are fighting injustice in some way, or we've been subject to injustice and we stood up to it. We're supposed to, or we're known to, tear down barriers that overcome those that oppress the lessers. Fight injustice that happens in the world. Except there's a lot of fucking injustice in the world.
I nod my head. Yeah. It seems like everything's just kind of on fire. And it's hard to know where to start. But I mean, I've kind of started with high quality builders specifically because of what they did to my family, so.
It's also a struggle to make sure that you don't create new injustice with your actions. I've had to struggle with that a lot, honestly.
How do you know when how do you know if you've gone too far and it starts warping?
You have to I try to judge whether what I'm doing is going to help more than it hurts. Will, say, killing someone guarding who was a security guard at a facility I'm trying to attack, will that help or create more injustice? Did he really know what was going on there? Also, would hitting that facility because I am trying to take down, say, the people researching on animals, how hard will that affect my pack? And is it something personal or is it something more objective?
Is it okay if it's both? Personal and objective?
Yeah, but those I have to be most careful on, because if it's personal, I might let my emotions run away with me, and quite honestly, there is a very, very, very deep anger inside of me that I have to not let take control.
I give her a side smile. It sounds like something that we have in common.
We probably have a lot in common, but yeah. I tended to, well, a while ago now, I more used my voice to try to fight injustice. I had this group of friends, and we would dig up information on corporations, the information they wanted to hide and bury, and we'd shed light on it. And I tended to talk about it on social media and provide proof. They got pretty pissed about that. Now, now I'm fighting plant monsters and infections and crazy ass banes. So it's all mixed up together.
Wow. Yeah, we do have a lot in common. I wasn't doing that necessarily, but I got into college to go into environmental science and figure out a way to help my family keep their land, and it would have branched out into others around us that were having similar issues with high quality builders, and I ended up joining the environmental club and everything, and meeting all these people, and just taking part in protests and learning about all of these people who are like putting in like real work to do their best to help protect the environment and stop corporations and businesses from taking everything over. And it turns out that all of that is just scratching the surface, and the stuff that we're doing now is the actual fucking nitty-gritty deep shit.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's all fucking crazy.
It definitely is. It just blows your mind. Not to say those those other things are definitely needed. I still strongly believe that we still need humans desperately to help. But when you realize everything else deeper involved, it's just, it's a mindfuck.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there are definitely still good humans out there that need to help fight the fight, but yeah. I just gotta
Sad thing
shake my
is,
head.
I mean, the sad thing is, a majority of them, a majority of humans are just ignorant of what's really going on, even if we don't look in the deeper sense, like our sense, the Garu whole mystical spirit worm weaver wild bullshit. Like, just they don't know what corporations are doing because corporations do so well to hide what they're doing that they don't realize they're all just a part of it and trapped.
Yeah, that reminds me of what Artie was saying. You said that you used to do social media stuff and like spread the information about what corporations are really doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did, but let's just say circumstances ended that. Though I might be finding a new avenue soon where I'll be getting a job as a journalist, so I'll maybe be able to pick it up again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I was gonna ask if there was any possibility that that could get started up again. So that's really awesome that you're gonna start being a journalist.
Thanks. I mean, there's many ways to fight injustice. Have you actually ever even met Gorgon?
Well, like I was saying, I have a hazy memory of meeting her when I first changed. It was, or a little bit of time after. I kind of, and I'll just like move my hand to the back of my head and scratch the back of my head a little bit. I tried to just die after my first change. I basically just let myself be buried in the snow and faded in and out of consciousness while I slowly froze to death. And in that time is when I saw her, but I barely remember it, and I haven't seen her since.
When she says that, my chest will tighten at just similar memories, and I'll scoot closer and hold my arm out like I want to wrap it around her, kind of just in a side hug.
I stiffen a little bit at the silent question between the both of us, but after biting my lip for a moment, I decide that I need this. I need the physical contact, and I will lean in and give a side hug back.
I'll pull her closer and just go to gentle squeeze. It's hard to pick yourself back up from that. You should know that you have some strength in you, and that's good.
Yeah. I can admit that the inner flame is starting to get its spark back for sure.
Good. Just don't let it consume you also.
You know, it's kind of funny. Ember said the same thing to me.
I'm trying to say this without really pretty metaphors because I have thousands of those in my head, but to be honest, the rage we have can turn pretty dark, and it can grow and grow, and it will pretty much consume you until you don't care about anything else or anyone else. We call it hog loss, but it's a thing that happens to a lot of Garu.
I think I've had some moments where it has, but I've been able to bring myself back from that brink.
Good. Just remember, you do have people to help you through it. I needed people to help me through it.
Yeah. I look down at my hands.
Would you like to meet Gorgon? I mean, actually have a conversation you will remember with her?
I look back up at Jester. Like, right now?
Yeah.
You can just do that?
Yeah, she's our patron. We can talk to her.
Oh. And I look around. I mean, sure, yeah. I didn't realize that it was something that we could just do at like any point in time. Now I feel kind of silly.
Don't feel too silly. If you hadn't talked about this to anyone, you probably wouldn't know. Took me a while to figure it out too, so. You don't know what you don't know. I'll look up to the sky and just be like, starlight, star bright, prettiest star I see tonight. Wish I may, wish I might. Won't you come down tonight?
It takes a few moments for there to be a response, as it is daytime and the stars don't quite shine as brightly. But after a short while, a small glow starts to descend from the sky, drifting lazily down until it lands on the log beside Jester. It's very dimly glowing, And after a moment, the teenage girl emanating with light stretches with a yawn. Ah. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Well, one, it's good to see you. Sorry for waking you. You look sleepy.
It's okay. Good to see you too.
Would you be so kind as to facilitate Juniper and me seeing Gorgon?
Oh, yeah, sure. She pushes herself up off the log and kind of shakes out the ruffles of her skirt before she twirls around in front of both of you. Okay, you ready?
I am. I'll look to Juniper.
Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you, by the way.
Uh-huh. And then she reaches out both hands and then with a finger boops you both on the nose. Almost as if in a flash, you find yourself in a dark, crumbling courtyard, surrounded by broken bricks and stone. You find yourself in front of a crumbling coliseum, like something out of ancient Greece. The structure has fallen for the most part, except for one entryway that seems to be to a descending staircase. In front of you appears a large battlefield that surrounds you with statues of combatants of all shapes and sizes. They seem to come from different time periods and eras. Some look like medieval warriors, others Spartans, some even from the Civil War, maybe even from the Vietnam War. All of them frozen in stone. All of them frightened. Wind howls through the air, twisting its way through the stones. The stars shine overhead, but there is no moon in sight. Amidst the inky blackness, the only other light to be seen is a single torch that seems to be inset on a sconce at the top of the staircase in this entryway in the side of this crumbled coliseum. Juniper, I'd like you to roll me a wits and awareness. Just you.
All right. What rage am I at right now?
You are at rage 1.
Four successes.
This battlefield that you're standing in seems to be endless, stretching off far, far, far into the distance. These statues just littering the landscape off in the distance, but something catches your eye far off on the horizon. A prowling black shape seems to weave its way pretty far out amongst the statues, but it's unmistakable in its large, hulking, furry form. The red, glowing eyes staring almost in a predatory gaze in your direction as that same wolf spirit that you saw before seems to move through the statues, keeping its distance from the Colosseum, but watching.
My face hardens as I meet its gaze, and I stare at it for a few lingering moments before looking back at Jester. So is this where the Gorgon resides?
Yep, come on. I'll motion to follow me towards the stairs.
I'd follow and look over again at the black wolf in the distance before speeding up a bit.
As you hurriedly keep pace with Jester, you both descend this long, spiraling staircase that goes deep into the bowels of the earth. You then find yourself in a large, expansive stone room with big stone pillars holding up the Colosseum above. Much like the battlefield you came from, this room has several statues of its own littered around the floor, but many of these statues have broken. Several of the limbs have been broken off. Some have completely shattered into pieces on the floor. But then at the far end of what appears to be a throne room, several statues come together to make up a large throne. All of them men positioned in ways as if they're holding up or creating a seat. Some down on all fours, others positioned as if they're holding their arms up to cradle someone. And atop the throne itself sits the Gorgon in all its magnificence. The long serpentine body stretched out, coiled around several of the statues. Arms spread out across several of the statues itself, fingers kind of coiled over the heads of two of the statues. Snakes spread out from the top of her head, while most of the snakes immediately look in your direction. A couple of them look off, upward, as if they're drawn to something up above, paying attention to something that can't be seen, aware of something that shouldn't be here. As she sees you, she says, "Hey, bitches."
I pause and almost take a step back, just out of pure, lack of a better word, shock at the welcome. I can honestly say that I was not expecting just a "hey bitches" response to us coming in, and then I just kind of try and act natural and be like, "Hey, haven't seen you in a long time."
I know, it's been far too long. You never call, you never write, you never come to visit. Did I do something wrong?
No, I didn't know I could. Actually, I thought I did something wrong and you didn't want to see me, to be honest.
Hardly. Get your ass down here.
Oh, okay, all right. And I'll just give Jester a look like, "Oh, what is happening?" And I was gonna like walk up to the Gorgon.
Jester's just grinning at the moment, and she'll wink at you and follow down slowly.
As both of you approach the base of the dais, she swipes a hand out, and a nearby statue is immediately severed in half, cutting the base off at the waist, taking off the top half of the statue, leaving just the waist and the legs. And she says, "Have a seat. Let's talk. Let's catch up."
All right. Okay. I will take a seat on the legs part.
So what's new with you? What's been going on? You've been busy.
I will chuckle nervously and look at Jester and then look back at the Gorgon. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Well, I'm not actively trying to freeze myself to death in the snow anymore.
That's good. I can't have my girls being wasted like popsicles. So depressing. Not a good look on you, blue lips and all. You know you can't die like that, right?
I mean, I know that now.
Well, good. And Jester, lovely to see you, darling. You're looking beautiful and satisfied.
It's great to see you too, Gorgon. And you were right, fine.
I'm always right.
Right. I'm not gonna ask what you mean by that. Anyway, so, yeah, hi. Nice to, see you when I'm not slipping in and out of consciousness.
Yes. You have been very awake and aware lately. It's good to see that. Don't need you falling into that emo status, that sad times. I've lost far too many to the sad times, or far too many to the angry times. We need to keep a good balance, you see. There's a time to be angry and a time to be sad.
Well, admittedly, I'm kind of in my angry era more so than my angsty era right now. And I'm kind of struggling with that, if we're gonna...
I'll say.
Be honest. Yeah.
Are you sure it's not angsty, though?
I mean... And I look down at my hands again. There might be a little bit of angst involved still.
There's always the looming question, isn't there? When is enough enough? It's the question that plagues every one of my children. It's hard to tell. I never think there are too many flowers in my garden. I never think there are too many statues in my hall. But it can get crowded. Enough is enough. when those directly responsible are dealt with. Go beyond that, and you become the injustice.
Have I started to go off course?
What do you think?
I think about the black wolf looming in the far reaches of this place, and I think about that night where I murdered a dog and killed and ate that man and then ended up eating the dog, and I start to feel a little sick to my stomach. And I look up at the Gorgon.
We break down the walls that stand in our way. We don't tear down every fucking building, or we have nowhere to live.
Well, I mean, I didn't do anything to that building. But I get what you're saying.
There are those who know they are committing injustice, and there are those who don't. You have to know the difference. You have to learn the difference. You're going to make mistakes. It's only human. But you have to make less mistakes than you do successes.
Is everything that I've been doing wrong?
No.
Or am I just... Oh. I'm just not picking the right targets.
Your quest to right a wrong has become more than just revenge. It has become more than just correcting an injustice. It has become an obsession. It has become an addiction. It will consume you. It's just a name, Juniper. One of many.
A cog on a wheel.
Yes.
But if I can take out the cog, it can fuck up the whole wheel.
They'll build another. They always do.
So then what should I target? What's the point if they're just gonna rebuild over and over and over and over again?
That's the question the Guru have been asking themselves this whole time. That's why they spin in circles. That's why their nation shatters.
What questions should I be asking to stop this insanity loop inside my head?
What are you fighting for? Are you fighting to get something back that you can't? Are you fighting to correct something that's already been corrected? Are you fighting to hurt someone else for the hurt you've felt? And you continue to feel? Or are you fighting because you just don't know what else to do?
I've been telling myself that I'm fighting to stop that company from being able to hurt others and to hopefully try at some point to get my family's land back and stop it from being corrupted like other places are.
What about all of the other land that's being taken? What about all the other families that are being lost and broken? There are many other companies doing many more terrible things. You focus on one company, one injustice.
I've kind of tunnel visioned myself, I guess.
You're blind to the damage you're doing all around you for that tunnel. The injustice you're causing just to get your own justice. Look at who you've hurt along the way. Look at who you're hurting now. Everything we do creates a ripple. Sometimes it's a ripple we want. Sometimes it's not. Yes, you strike back at one, but then it angers another and another and another. You have far more enemies to deal with.
This all just makes me feel like I'm a kid again. And I've entered something that's meant for adults. And I've just set it all on fire.
Girl, Yukaru don't like fire. Better put that shit out.
I mean, my PAX patron is a literal ember, and I personally love a good fire, as I'm sure you know, but yeah, I guess fire's not really a thing.
But that's a controlled burn, baby.
Yeah, mine haven't really been very well controlled as of late.
But it's not too late. You are in a war, Juniper, but you're not going to be able to fight this war alone. You will lose. You can fight this company, sure, but it is one of many, like a hydra. And you can keep attacking the one, but you will just gain the attention of the others, and they will come for you. And if you burn all of your allies along the way, you will lose. And what will it have all been for?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. I take a moment to look at Jester, and there's an obvious sign of an inner conflict behind my eyes. And then I just sigh, and I look back at the Gorgon. saw and still see the big black wolf dude.
Of course you do.
What is that supposed to mean?
Like recognizes like. He feels your anger. He feels your fury, and he sees you hunting alone like him. He went on his own. He broke away from the others. And he's fighting a battle he's going to lose.
I did something, and I saw him, and in the moment, it felt good to just give in to that fire, that rage, that anger. But I've been warned by Ember about him, and when I look back on what I did, it makes me feel sick. And like I went too far. But now I'm scared that he won't leave me alone and that I will just keep giving in to these impulses and these compulsions. And I just how do I get him to go away?
In a flash, the large serpentine form of the Gorgon springs down from the throne, coiling around you until her face is staring in your eyes, her hand reaching up to grab your jaw until you're looking deep into her eyes. You belong to me. You are mine. If ever the wolf comes to you again, you remind him of this fact. You harden your heart like stone. You put out that fire in your belly. You resist that desire. And you punch him in the fucking face.
And okay, what do I do if everything tastes like ash?
Figure out why and deal with it.
I nod my head very vigorously. All right. Yep. I'll do that.
She leans in and gives you a kiss on the forehead before uncoiling and returning to her throne.
My face is just red. My face is just red at this point.
I've got that slightly leaned away, just like, oh shit expression for I'll relax a bit when she's back on the throne.
Fenris is a bully and a brute. He brings his followers into submission and makes them cower, making them believe that they are strong when actually they are weak. They lack discipline. They lack control. Be better. Be stronger. Don't be afraid. We do not fear. We fight.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. And I just kind of smile a bit. Thank you, Gorgon. I really appreciate this talk.
Of course, darling. I always love a good visit. You should do it more often.
Well, now that I know that I can, just whenever, I will definitely be stopping by.
I mean, it's not like I get a lot of company, and these friends of mine aren't very good conversationalists, and she gestures to all the statues.
Yeah, they definitely seem like the silent type.
And you, she looks over towards Jester.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll get your turn. Just be patient.
I am trying. And succeeding so far, so.
That's a good girl. Now, go do what sisters are supposed to do. Get a mani-pedi or something. Stop, being all morose and shit.
You got it.
We'll get right on that. Do you wanna go for a run and scratch our nails on, I don't know, a dead log or something? I'm not really into a mani-pedi.
Sure.
So as the two sisters head up the stone staircase, when they reach the top of the stairs, Juniper, you look out amongst the field of statues, and the wolf is nowhere to be seen. As you step out through the archway, in a flash, you find yourselves in the cairn once more. As you prepare to go for your run, what's going through your mind after this conversation with Jester and Gorgon?
I am feeling a lot better. A lot of the feelings of the anxiety that came with the Gorgon's silence this whole time has left, and I honestly just kind of laugh thinking about all of it. And the small pit of optimism that I've started to feel slowly over the past few weeks has increased just a little bit more. That whole conversation with the Gorgon definitely wasn't what I was expecting and got a little intense there. But I just I have hope. I have genuine hope that things are going to continue going in the right direction moving forward, and that I'm not completely fucked up.
Hope is a beautiful thing. But will those hopes be dashed as the truth comes out? We transition now to our next scene. Our next scene takes us to the forest, where 3 Guru are on patrol. We're far, far on the edges of the Bawn of the Sept Cairn. This is a regular duty of this pack. Ever since they've established themselves in Tampa, they've been getting assigned tasks that sometimes seem menial, sometimes seem run-of-the-mill, including picking up trash, which is one of the tasks they have to do this particular day. So as they're making the rounds in their Hamid form, whenever they see a discarded cup or can, they have to pick it up and place it in a garbage bag that they have at their side. And they have to be very, very detailed, because any little piece of garbage, any little bit of pollution, as they have been told and taught, could lead to banes. Because yes, as Raymond has learned from his teaching with Eliza, there are banes of pollution. So as the 3 Guru move along, Stakes, Delphine, and Raymond, the scene is yours.
So throughout the hike to pick up garbage, Delphine would probably be like, anytime there was garbage to be found, like just stab it a little bit more forcefully with one of those trash picking sticks. And like the entire Ray being insightful, like the entire time they'd been on patrol, and just of late, she's been a little bit more angry and tense with all the latest revelations that she's been learning, and hasn't been very chatty, and even hasn't, like at home, hasn't even been sleeping in the room, like in the designated room. She's mainly been crashing on the couch with Stakes. So it's just been a lot of spiciness from Delphine the past couple weeks, honestly.
The last couple of conversations I've had with Delphine, one-on-one or with in the pack meeting, probably have more or less led to this spiciness from what I perceive. And so I'm accepting the quiet, giving her space, and we're just patrolling. We're just doing what we need to do in one of our jobs. So if we do it for 4 hours or so in silence, it's kind of how it is. So I'm just doing the job and noticing the little things, but just keeping it to myself.
After just picking up a couple more pieces of trash, like feeling that her bag's half full, she'll look at him. So how long do you think we're actually going to be in hell?
Stabbing another piece of trash that is hiding underneath a bush, shoving it in my bag. I honestly don't know. From what it sounds like, we have to not only finalize this deal, but we also have to deal with the mine itself. So if we can do it all rather quickly, maybe 3 weeks, because we have to scout out the mine, we have to figure out the deals of the trade, we have to then deal with the mine situation. So there's a lot to get done while we're up there.
Like, even though she's in Hamid form, there is almost like a deep growl in her chest just from hearing the 3 weeks. She stabs another piece of garbage, puts it in the bag. While we're up there, we might have a little bit more issues.
Cock my head to the side a little bit. I mean, more issues in what sense? So, I mean, we already have 2 pretty big issues going up there. So, what more could we have?
Delphine will pause and then look at Stakes. Where did you find her again, Juniper?
Out west.
And how much did you learn about her before grabbing her?
Enough.
Did you know did you know how we were connected?
No.
Delphine will look at Ray. Juniper did something before we left that is going to be a problem, at least for me.
I'll give a slightly confused look. I mean, what exactly did she do that was going to cause a problem specifically for you? Like, is it as bad as the situation we're going in right now with the Hellsept trying to deal with that bull situation with you?
Just as bad.
Okay. I guess, yeah, what exactly happened?
Before we left Michigan, I found out that my parents died. The gas line in their house exploded. I didn't think much on it. Started having Aspen help me out with the lawyers and the will and all that stuff. But then I had a few people tell me their thoughts that the death was suspicious. Charles didn't think that it was an accident. And then Aspen asked Artie to help once he got back with everything, with potentially doing some digging. She reaches into the pocket of her baggy cardigan and she pulls out her phone and she'll open one and she'll go to her phone's gallery and pull up the video that Artie sent her and hand the phone over to Ray so him and Stakes can look at it. She plays the video and you see ring cam footage of a neighborhood at night and a face you recognize in the footage being Juniper.
Watching the video face getting a little serious as I'm watching and just taking it in. I'll kind of look at Stakes and then look back at Delphine. Is this ring camera of your house?
It's of the ring camera footage of the surrounding neighborhood. Before the house exploded, the gas lines were opened really quick, and it's not that like already says that their house passed inspections, all the gas lines were fine and everything, and based on the energy readings of it's not normal and would have all been turned on at once.
In the video, because I don't know the neighborhood, does it appear like Juniper is heading towards your house from what's captured and leaving your house?
So for some context, the video is from like at least a mile away, so it's hard. You don't get any obvious signs. It's not like in the same neighborhood specifically. It's like from a neighborhood adjacent, a distance away.
It's not my neighborhood like it's not the exact neighborhood my house was on, but it's close enough that it's suspicious. Especially since Bloomfield Hills is like a couple hours drive away.
It is suspicious, but you trying to insinuate that Juniper is the cause of your parents' house exploding and their deaths.
Yeah.
Are you basing that just off this video?
Remember when Red and all of them left us alone in the sept? And we had to watch the bar.
I do.
There was a woman that showed up at the bar. She knew my parents' names and asked Juniper. She had spotted me and asked Juniper if I was related to them. I told her I wasn't because I was trying to hide. I didn't want my parents knowing where I was. The last time I saw them, I robbed them. I stole my dad's credit card. I stole a bunch of my mom's jewelry. They were trying to put me in rehab and I didn't want to go. So I thought that if this lady went back to work and told them that she's found me in hell. So I told Juniper that no, didn't know them. I was pretty strung out at the time because I hadn't been able to get any. And I think she realized I was lying to her.
Okay. I'm just trying to come at this from I'm just trying to get all the information. Like, if that's true, and if Juniper did find out that you were the daughter of your parents, and if she was able to find out where they lived, why? Why would she just randomly decide to just kill your parents? If
because
that
my
is
parents
true.
worked for Pentex. Their names were Cameron and Ava Duncan. My name's not Delphine. But Stakes already knew that.
I know Juniper has issues with Pentex and high quality builders, but did your parents have a connection to them specifically? Or
I don't know. But she also didn't say anything to me.
say anything to you in what way?
I don't know, Ray, if I don't know how they were connected. All I know, I just found out recently that they fucking worked for Pentex. I thought my mom was just a fucking tax attorney for just a normal company. Dad was an office manager. Yeah, they weren't the best parents, but I don't think they were shit. I don't think they were dangerous people that deserve to be murdered.
I mean, I didn't know your parents, so I'm going to take your word on it. But I don't know if I 100% believe that Juniper would do that from just these two pieces. I mean, I know she has a very strong hatred towards Pentex and high quality builders, but I don't know.
She literally was going to go fight Spud herself and set him on fire. Just from finding out he was a leech.
I mean, like I said earlier, like that's what we were trained and explained to do. So, I mean, her reaction was very volatile and a lot. But I can understand
Reactions
that reaction
are
from
always
that.
volatile. She's always angry. She's always pissed.
She's been getting better. Do you think that she would be that volatile to find out that your parents worked for Pentex, go to their house and kill them after knowing that you were related to them and find that piece of information, just go murder two random people that worked for Pentex in some way?
We don't know anything about her.
We don't know a lot, but we know some. I mean, we know the situation of her
Do we?
family.
Because I don't. I just know that her family died.
They were killed.
Were they killed by Pentex?
Yes.
By high quality builders? Okay. Stakes, do you think that this is something Juniper would do?
Yes. But I think you should talk to her. I don't think she would do it needlessly. Say what you want to about Juniper. But when she does something, she has a reason and she has a cause. She is young. She is, at times, reckless. But she is passionate about what she believes. And if she did it, she had a reason. find out what the reason is. And if you aren't satisfied, challenge her. Settle it our way. Because, according to the litany, she did nothing wrong.
That's bullshit. She fucking murdered 2 people.
Who worked for the worm.
Who were my parents?
Then challenge her.
I have no chance against her in a fight. And you know that.
I know.
I'm her she's volatile. She's a fucking wrecking ball, and I'm the collateral damage.
You can pick a champion.
That's allowed.
Yes.
I mean, this is your situation, and whatever you decide to do, you decide to do. But I agree with Stakes. We should probably talk to her. Try to figure out the whole situation. And if it's not something you're satisfied with, then we can find something to make you satisfied.
You see Delphine's face fall. And her lips start to quiver. Why? Why is everything always hard?
Because we're in a war. But you're not alone. And if you do decide to challenge, I will be your champion.
She's your favorite.
I don't have favorites. But talk to her.
I never got to say goodbye to them.
There's still time.
It just lets go of the trash bag that she's been holding and the stick. And is just trying to stop the tears falling from her because just the weight of everything for the past year and having to just let one thing after another roll off of her so she can act as the guide so she can help Deadbeat, so she can help her pack has just started to fall and crumble. And she's just a 20-year-old girl who doesn't know what to do.
Seeing Delphine break down, I will walk towards her, and if she allows, I will try to give her a hug of reassurance.
She stiffens for a moment, not used to receiving hugs or affection like that. But once she feels the arm around her, she will slowly start to relax and does just lean in and bury her face in Ray's shoulder and just starts sobbing and breaking.
After a while, I'll just let her kind of cry and let the feelings out for a bit, without breaking the hug. I'm sure we'll find a way to help you figure this out. I know it's extremely hard, but like Stake said, you're not alone. We're all here to, in some extent, to help you, and we will help you. So don't have to carry everything on your shoulder. We will be here.
Stakes look. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Stakes looks to Ray. Sept leadership knows. They told me to tell you that you have jurisdiction over seeing this dealt with. The Master of Challenges says you can contact him if it comes to that for the rules on challenges.
I'll nod if it comes to that. But
if it does,
we need to talk to Juniper first and figure this out.
I agree.
And then after a little bit longer, I'll break the hug and kind of step away a couple of steps. Whenever you're ready to have that conversation with Juniper, we will. Because I don't want you to go in ill-prepared or go in hurting more than you currently are. So whenever you're ready, we can do that.
She wipes her face off, like her face off with her the end of her sleeve, and just gives a little bit of a bitter laugh. Ray, I've been hurting for such a long time. Just one more hurt to put on top of it.
You and me both, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, we gotta get used to that, don't we?
It sucks. But yeah.
She steps away from Ray and looks at Stakes. You'd be able to just fight her like that. If that was the challenge.
I'd be able to fight any of you if I had to. I wouldn't enjoy it. I never doubted you when you first saw the wolf. You know that. I had to kill my own brother because he fell to the wolf. I can fight anyone. It may break my heart to do it, but I will do what I must.
Delphine will nod and just shut her eyes a little bit and then open them and look at her. Sorry for saying that you had a favorite. Just feels that way sometimes.
I understand. I tend to Juniper because she needs me, but I will tend to any of you that do. You are all my pups, and I will defend all of you, even from each other.
She'll nod and see that she dropped the bag of trash and the stick and just curse a little bit and pick it up, shoving back any trash that might have escaped the bag inside.
And we don't want to be out here for another hour picking up all the trash that we missed from the drop, but
I don't even want to be here now. It's too hot.
it's actually a little bit cooler than yesterday.
To you.
As the three of you set out to continue and finish the task, Stakes reaches over to squeeze Delphine's arm in a show of confidence and affection, which is unusual for her, but also in a way of steadying her. The truth hurts. And the road is paved with good intentions. But that road leads to hell. And hell burns. Now we're going to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaboration with our partnered vendors, Dramatic Creations, Panchi Artista, Ember Fox Dice, Devlin the Bard, Champs Tramps, Howlin' Hop Tea. Links to our partnered vendors as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels can be found on our website, stpetebynight.com. You can follow SPbN on all socials with the hashtag StPeteByNight. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/StPeteByNight to help keep the stories rolling.
Welcome back. We begin the second half of tonight's story with a galliard in need of guidance. Rory, you've been watching your pack strain under the responsibilities and struggles of being Guru, of becoming part of a sept under fire, of being in a city at war, and now under the responsibility of returning to a state they left, to an area that was fraught with controversy. You've wanted to be a pillar of strength. You've wanted to help support your pack during these times, but you found yourself struggling because this is all new to you as well. After all, you're just a teenager. How can you be responsible for all this? So you look to those you've started to come to admire. You've looked to those who exemplify strength, the leaders of the sept. A Galliard of great renown in Jester, and of course, the sept leader, Aspen, who is at the front of it all, the top. So having requested a meeting with the two elders of the sept, you're brought to the cairn, to the table where leadership sits. It is a warm, warm afternoon as summer encroaches closer and closer. But the cairn is temperate. Something about this place makes it bearable, makes it comfortable. The magic, the spiritual energy of this place makes it worth being here, makes it welcoming. And in these summer months, you'll take whatever welcoming you can get, because every time you step just a single foot outside of those boundaries, you're reminded of why you hate being this far south and why you lived in Alaska as long as you did. So as you arrive at the hand-carved wooden table, the 13 chairs positioned around it, the clave ceremoniously hung on the tree, looking down on all of you. The scene is yours.
Today she's back in the crop top, cargo pants, boots, her usual getup. She'll take a moment to kind of admire all the markings on the table and just get to observe it for the first time. And then she'll go over to the clave and look over it again, remembering what Jester told her last time about the claves, and just kind of taking that all in as she waits for Aspen and Jester to come join her.
Aspen will walk up to the table with her pen in hand, and she will sit at one of the chairs, smiling and just looking intently at Rory.
Howdy there, and she'll nod.
A medium-sized red wolf will trot towards the table, and I'll shift into Hamid, running a hand through my hair, and sit down.
Howdy there, Jester. Which seat am I allowed to sit in? And she'll kind of just motion, unsure of what to do with herself or if she should stand.
Aspen will just point to a chair. It's not official. Sit where you'd like.
All right, then, and she'll pull out that chair and sit kind of on the edge of it, she still isn't sure if she's allowed to sit there, but will do as told.
So, what can I do for you, Rory?
I had some concerns about the mission that our pack was issued.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure you're aware that we're not overall going to be the biggest fans of it, but I don't know why. I just feel like something ain't sitting right with me. And I want to support my pack as well as I can, but any way I think of trying to do that, I feel like I'll either come up short or it's going to end in more disaster than necessary.
What feels wrong about the mission?
She'll carefully place her elbows on the table. Just the way, I don't know. And she'll try to like find the words. Like, the way it was presented and when, like, it was right after we did something together for once, and then it felt like we were starting to, in a way, slip back into that separation. Like we were finally all starting to get on the same page. And then, I mean, I figured some of us would not want to go back, rightfully so. 2 of them were shamed, but I don't know, it just wasn't sitting right with me that night. And, well, I wanted to talk to Ray about it, but it seemed like then wasn't the right time. And I guess what I'm asking is, how can I make sure that we don't get fractured even more as a pack? All these bonds and connections we're trying to make, we don't have to go back to square one.
Well, speaking from experience and being told quite a lot from someone I care about, healing isn't linear, and people backslide, people get better. It's not going to happen overnight. So the connection that you had, if it was working and there's been a divide, then you keep working at it. People need their backslides to see how they can progress forward. I think going to Michigan could cause a lot of issues from what I know of your history and from the brief interaction that I've had. It will probably be a challenge for you all, I'm sure. But I think as long as you all stay in a state of unification, knowing that at the very least you all are in that together, in that mission together, regardless of the infighting or the issues amongst each other, if you know that at least in this mission, you were all meant to work together and be there for each other. And I don't mean in a, oh my gosh, kumbaya everything hold hands and be best friends type of way. I mean, you're doing a mission, this is your pack, and you need to stick it together.
I'm going to say something that I've said to many members of my own pack. I'll side eye. Aspen, communication is very important. If you feel these bonds slipping away, talk to these people. And don't just talk to talk to hear them talk. Actually listen to what they're saying and then figure out if you can help. Or if helping is enough, it's just being there for them.
She'll kind of like smirk at herself, realizing that now she's in the shoes that, or she's in the other spot and has given lectures to Ray about this before. And then kind of just like hold her arm a little bit. I've been trying to do that. And have been trying to just be there for them, but I don't know. I feel this is different, and based on recent events and past events, I'm just really worried, I guess.
Are you worried about the personal issues between the pack members or something in hell itself that might cause this?
I'm worried about them, my pack. And it's weird because, yeah, I'd be concerned that we'd get in trouble, but I'm worried about things that might be said or done. I mean, when we were talking about it, there was a lot of talk of being on the front lines and stuff. I don't want that for them. Just for a mission that we're supposed to broker a trade.
Aspen will smirk, look over to Jester. You should listen to all of the stories that we have from, well, when we first got here. It was kind of a mess, to be completely honest with you. There was fighting, there's infighting, there was, insubordination, bad leadership. We had to figure it out too. So it, just because it seems like it's maybe not going the greatest, it'll work itself out. People will figure out where they fit, and you'll figure out from being on the front lines. There's no avoiding that. You're a guru. It's going to happen. You can't avoid it, unfortunately. But you'll learn that going through all of that together, you're really the only people that'll know each other best. And people are going to go through their bullshit. I've been through mine. She kind of fiddles with the braid in her hair. Jester's been through hers. We're both going through bullshit right now. But you and your pack being together, you'll figure it out.
She's right. Look, mistakes are going to happen. I'll have a grin. We're human. We're part human. It's just that's part of being human. The thing is, everybody's gonna make mistakes. There are gonna be fuck ups, and you just have to own up to them and then try to learn from them so you don't make the same mistakes.
Jester, did you ever tell her the prison break story?
I have not.
That's a good one.
Rory will look a little confused with the slight bit of amusement. A prison break?
There is a lot of context to this, but let's just. I had friends. We were all part of an activist group. They were arrested and blamed for something that I'll point to Aspen, between Aspen and I, were a part of. The people that had them arrested were trying to use them to get to us. Aspen was trying her hardest to get them out legally, but those responsible were leeches and were cheating. They were using powers to manipulate things, and it was looking pretty bleak, and I was not handling it well. There used to be a Garu here named Ryder. He was the old SEP leader from the SEP from 10 years ago. He was the one really responsible for, like, blowing up the thing that blew up. And it's a whole nother story, and I'm not gonna get into all of it. Anyways, I was pretty pissed at him for the longest until I decided to go and try to hash it out with him. We fought, like, physically, because it's a thing we understood each other about. And I was gonna be okay with it. I gave him some stipulations. And then he offered me something I couldn't resist, which was to break my friends out of prison. And so, without telling Aspen or anyone else, because that was part of his deal, I went with him. And we attempted to break the 4 people who were really important to me out. He died that night. He was killed by another leech named Bloody Mary. And so, take away the story, probably tell your pack leader if you're going to do anything really stupid or reckless so that they know and maybe can help you out with it.
Also, part of that story, Jester, when she came back, Jester and I screamed at each other. We were, well, I was not nice to her in that moment. And we did not, I didn't handle it well. And there was contention there. And it wasn't great. But we worked through it. And now Jester is one of the people I go to for a lot of my issues, a lot of my hard times, a lot of my things that I can't think I can get out of. Things that when I'm in dark places, Jester has always been there for me. But it didn't start out great. We fought, There was another time when we had to deal with a whole trial because I broke the litany. And they were all there for me because I made a stupid decision, but Jester and the rest of the pack were there for me for that too. And we have made dumb mistakes. All of us. And we've done things, and we've been through our massive amounts of shit together. But at the end of the day, we have each other, and that bond has only gotten stronger, I think, through all of the mess that we have to go through on a regular basis.
Smile over it, Aspen. Yeah, we fought pretty hard that time. Also, your decision wasn't completely stupid. There could have been things that were done better, but it wasn't completely stupid. It was a very difficult decision to make.
Fair. But it got us into a lot of shit, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, look, pack mates are gonna fight. Oh, look to Aspen and then sigh. Some of it is gonna be pretty deep and pretty hurtful. I think the best way you might be able to navigate that is to try to be fair, but empathetic to both sides of the disputes.
Also, call people on their bullshit. Jester's great at that. Chuckles and smiles over at Jester.
Yeah, that also, like, kind of that's what I meant also being fair. Like, don't let anybody slide out from underneath it and be overly empathetic, but don't be overly harsh either. Like, try to get them to see each other's points of view or each other's sides. And if someone is in the wrong, definitely call them out. Like, they're not going to learn if they're not in the wrong. They're just going to continue to do what they do. And something I've heard from Artie is hurt people tend to hurt others.
That sounds really wise of this Artie. And she'll kind of lean back in her chair. I appreciate the stories and the words of advice. It's good to know that this is a normal thing, I guess.
You'll come to learn that your pack is almost like a wonderful, loving, great, dysfunctional family. And you have to take the good and the bad, but a lot of the time, there's a lot of good. There's also a lot of bad, but you have each other. And so the good times feel a lot better, and the bad times feel a little less bad.
Aspen was right. You can't, we're going to be on the front line. There's no helping it. And that comes with a lot of really bad things that you may see. And trust me when I say this, you can't deal with it alone. You need your pack.
She'll kind of sit there and let that percolate for a second. The comment of dysfunctional, she had an obvious smirk. Thank you, both for the advice. I think I'm gonna go and, finish prepping for my trip.
One more thing. Galliard to Galliard. We don't just tell stories to, like, talk about our greatness or keep the memories. They help people relate. There's a reason stories persist in books, television, history. People connect with them.
Yeah, I've started to notice that a bit more while I've been down here. Decided to pick up a little bit of reading myself.
Good.
And as she stands up, do you know of anyone that might necessarily not be able to speak their stories that may need help sharing them? And she'll kind of do sign language for her name, or like I speak sign language.
Not that I have come across, but I will let you know if I do.
Please do. It's a shame that not all their stories get told to those who, well, can hear them.
I think maybe. I don't know how much you all know each other, but Stakes might be a good start.
Yeah, I can poke her a bit. I left the book because a trick that Delphine does and no one seems to understand that we can't all read lips, I guess. But I don't know if any of them have picked it up or not. Maybe one or two.
Well, that's awesome. That's something you can share together. But I think, I don't know, it seems like you all have a bit of a hard time expressing yourselves. So getting stories from them. And if I know anything about lupus borns, their stories are interesting when you can get them to tell the whole story. So that's a bit of a fun one. So I'm sure Stakes has way more than she's even spoken of.
Yeah, I'm sure she's dropped a couple of gems around us every now and then, but nothing super elaborate. Just kind of what we need to hear in the moment.
I mean, if you were wanting to hear more about it, you could ask her about it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Maybe can do that on the drive up if she's not napping the whole time in the back.
Aspen will smile. Fair point. And if you ever want to learn more about our story, it's not too dissimilar from all of yours. Jester's great at telling stories.
I'd appreciate that. Maybe after we get back.
Sure thing. I love doing it.
She'll smile at the two of them. Again, I appreciate your time. And she'll kind of like push in the chair, trying to show like the table respect, because she's like, this is still don't feel right sitting here yet. Like it's the council table before kind of like waiting to head out. Not wanting to be like rude, but also like not wanting to take up any more of their time.
As you cross the clearing, making your way out of the cairn, thinking about everything that Aspen and Jester said, all of the advice they gave, what's going through your mind now after you had all that apprehension about going to hell and all of the apprehension in dealing with the pack? How are you feeling now with the advice they've given?
She still has some nerves about it, but it's not as bad as before. Hearing kind of a little bit of how they've done, like, the brain, how they've done kind of like reckless and like shit, and how they've kind of been at each other's throats, even though we've seen them kind of like very there for each other, is reassuring, and has kind of motivated her a bit to figure out how the pack can now get like that, and seeing this more as a test for their pack rather than a threat. So she's a little bit more determined on that front.
Our intentions can always come from a good place, but it's our actions that truly define us, and how those actions are received, how those actions are defined, are in the eye of those that witness it, those that receive it. And no more is this going to be witnessed or defined than in our final scene of the evening. The time has finally come. Weeks of apprehension after over a year of avoidance. You've been told by the spirits. You've been told by your packmates. All roads lead to this. The mistakes of the past have a way of catching up with us. Never has that been more literally shown than when Lila, a vision of the past, showed up at your doorstep. She came knocking, baby in tow, your baby in tow. Deadbeat, there's a reason you got your name. But there's an opportunity to be rid of that name. There's an opportunity to regain your honor. Question is, will you take that opportunity? After avoiding it, after being apprehensive, with enough encouragement, with enough challenging on behalf of those you've come to, in your own way, respect, you finally put in the text to Lila saying that you would meet her at her motel. You're given the address, and you take the van out to meet her. The address is off of Hillsborough Avenue, which is a very, very busy street. It's right off the highway. And as you drive out there, you find this motel, and it is the definition of rundown. This is the cheapest accommodations one could get in Tampa. And you can see that it's probably the type of motel one could get hourly rentals from if they wanted to, but knowing her, she probably was able to get a week's rental, probably several weeks' rental. Parking the van, you can hear the sounds of people yelling. You can hear the sounds of the traffic off the street. It's a pretty terrible place for a single mother and a baby to have been staying these past few weeks. That's not going to make this any easier, that's for sure. What's going through your mind as you prepare for this encounter?
There is a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. There's the thoughts of trying to prepare, think of things I can say, things I can do to try and deflect or get out of this. Then there's the thoughts of guilt, of God damn it, like every moment I see this place and think about what I've done, just kind of pangs of guilt that kind of resulting in a bit of anger, a bit of rage, more kind of towards myself, but also feel like towards everything. And there is a very small part of him that does almost look forward to seeing her again after not seeing her for a year. He did miss her. And some part of him is now almost relieved, at least a little happy to be able to finally see her again.
Taking a deep and steadying breath, you climb out of the van and walk up to the motel door. You knock on the door, and you can hear the sound of a baby crying within. And after a few moments, you hear the sound of a chain rattling and the deadbolt turning. And as the door opens, there she is. Her tan skin, her curly hair. A vision almost taking you back to that porch at that frat party. Taking you back to the moment you met her. And yet, she looks different, too. Tired. Road weary. Almost lost. A shadow of the beauty that she once was. Forgotten. But there's still some of her in there, because when she sees you, a spark appears amidst that hollow shell. Behind her eyes, something ignites, almost like she comes back to life. Excitement, maybe? Hope, possibly? Bradley, she says as she holds the door open. It's really you.
I kind of just standing in the doorway, very stiff, as I try to think of what I'm going to say. My mouth opens a few times. Nothing comes out. That kind of open, close, or just kind of gulping down some saliva. Though my mouth feels it's incredibly dry, I will just say, yeah, hey, and just kind of look around. Can I come in?
Yes, yes, of course, please. She steps back from the door. And as she does so, you can see that there's a little baby playpen off to one side. It looks like it was probably secondhand, possibly even third hand, very worn and used, but still able to do the job. If not barely, it looks like some duct tape has been used to keep some of the padding together. And inside, the child, curly-haired, standing, leaning up against the edge. The crying has stopped, replaced by a babbling. As it looks over in your direction, a pain hits, and a memory hits. Because something in those eyes is so familiar. You've seen those eyes before. Not just every time you look in the mirror, but with the youth of those eyes, you see your brother, young and innocent, lost and forgotten, abandoned by you. Just like this child. She closes the door behind you and says, "Please have a seat. Would you like some water or something?"
No, I'm good. Kind of look to sit like where I can sit the furthest away from this kid. Just looking around, very uncomfortable, trying to think of things to say, but failing. As I'll just quietly sit down and kind of just stare at her for a few moments and say, "So, heard you were asking around for me. Didn't expect to see you down here."
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you. There was a lot you needed to know. And I tried calling a few times, I tried texting a few times, and I just couldn't get a hold of you. I couldn't get through to you, and well, lots happened, Bradley. I thought you should know.
Yeah, I've like visibly shrinking at this point as I just kind of look, not like meeting her gaze, I just kind of look around as I'll just say, things have been crazy, a little bit crazy on my end too. Not been, a lot of things have changed.
I never expected you to be perfect. But I thought we were something. I thought we had something. Did I do something wrong?
I just kind of sit there stuttering a few words as I'll eventually kind of take a deep breath, kind of catch myself, and I'll say, we did have something, but you didn't do anything wrong. I had to go. And yeah, I just kind of look away ashamed as I'll kind of sit there quietly for a little bit. Not sure how to follow that up.
Why?
I don't know what to tell you. I don't think I could tell you anything that would make this better or give any sort of real answer. I want you to know that I didn't want to hurt you. I heard things that, I don't know, it looks like things are rough here, and I thought that your parents would. I kind of just trail off.
She looks down and away for a moment, and then you see her hand go up and swipe away, most likely a tear. Yeah, they didn't understand, especially when I decided to, when I wouldn't get they didn't understand. But I would have understood, Bradley. Whatever it was, I would have understood. And I get it that it's scary, and I get it that it's not easy, but we could have been strong together. You didn't have to be the strong one all the time. We could make each other strong.
No, that's... I never was the strong one. I never was a good one. I'm a fuck up. I always have been, and I'm sorry for getting into your life. I was scared that the kid would remind me of my brother. I was scared that I would be stuck, and I'm scared I'd fail someone else in a way. But I can't be strong for you. I can't be strong for anyone, even for me.
I didn't come here to ask you to be strong for me. That's not what this is about anymore. I've learned to be strong by myself. I've had to, for him. I didn't get a choice, Bradley. You gave me no choice. But that's okay. I forgive you. But I need something from you, Bradley.
No, you can't possibly have forgiven me. I've done the biggest fuck up to you in your life. You can't have forgiven me. And honestly, I don't deserve it either.
Our son is not a fuck up. Our son is the greatest gift you've ever given me. Yes, it meant hard times. Yes, it meant difficulty. And yes, it changed my life. But believe it or not, it changed my life for the better. So thank you for that, Bradley. But I need something from you. And I need you to say yes, no matter what.
What do you need?
Our son needs to know you. He doesn't need your money. He doesn't need you to babysit. He doesn't need you to take care of him. He at least needs to know you. He needs to know you exist. Even if it's every now and then. Because he deserves it.
He deserves to see his fuck up dad. I don't know a single thing about taking care of someone else and being a parent. I don't know anything about that.
I'm not asking you to be a parent, Bradley. I'm asking you to be a man. Because I can't be. He needs to see a man.
What if you find someone else in your life to be there for you, not leave you like I did? Someone else to love you. Am I still going to be there, or will I?
That'll be for me. This is for him and for you. Because I think you need it as much as he does. And I think you know it.
My gaze will finally linger onto the crib and to my son, kind of at this point now tearing up, like little streams of tears rolling down my face. He has his eyes,
They're your eyes too.
No, but
maybe, Bradley, this is your second chance.
there isn't second chances for guys like me, but I have to tell you, my life is kind of fucked right now. I'm living a life that's not safe. I live a dangerous life now. I don't know if I can protect you from it if you get closer to me, if I start coming here.
Then make it as safe as you can. For as long as you can. For him. I'm not asking you to protect me. It's not about me anymore, Bradley. That's over. This is about him.
But you had so much going for you. You were going to go to University of Michigan. You were going to get your degree. You were going to be able to make the big changes to help so many people, and now I caused you to be only thing you can do is focus on raising the kid that I gave you.
He's all that matters. And I'm grateful for that.
I'll just put my head in my hands and kind of sit there for a moment, contemplating what I'm going to do. What I didn't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. I expected money, to ask for money, to be asked for anything else really, or to be yelled at and screamed at and told how much of a shitty person I am, but now just being met with this is completely throw me off guard, as I have to just kind of contemplate what I'm going to do. And I'm just gonna I'll kind of look back up. I'll say, how are you going to make that work out? Do you have a place to stay? Do you have a job down here?
Been looking into some possibilities. I didn't have much of a life up there. I was scraping by and doing the best I could, but I can change if it means a better life for him, if it means an opportunity for him to know his father. Again, I don't expect money. I don't expect protection. He just needs to know you, Bradley. He needs to know who his father is.
What's his name?
Cooper.
It's just kind of, tears are now rolling a bit more freely now as I keep my head low. Has just parts of my brain are screaming at me that this is a terrible idea, that as soon as I start seeing this kid, they're immediately in danger from, pentacts, vampires, everything, and yet I can't just say no. Some part of me, for whatever reason, whether it's because my guilt over what I've done to her, or the fact that he could be a second chance, maybe, that I could make up for how I fucked up with my brother. And after kind of a long silence, I will finally look up to meet her gaze, and I'll say, I'll make sure he knows his father. I'll stop by when I can. I'm gonna be in Michigan in a few weeks for a little bit, but I'll be back down here. I can try.
That's all I ask. And I forgive you. And it's okay. You deserve a second chance. They are allowed for people like you. Because I look at you, Bradley, and you're not the person you think you are. You're better. That person wouldn't have come to my doorstep.
no matter how much good I do, it won't be enough to make up for what I did. But I appreciate you. I'm this kind of backwards, isn't it? I'm probably supposed to be the one comforting you, and yet here you are, kind of comforting me like I'm me being a baby right now.
Oh, stop. I had time to cry and yell and curse your name, and I also had time to get over it. I look at him, and I hear him laugh, and I see him smile, and I look at the way he loves me. How could I stay mad at you? Do you want to hold him?
I'll nod to that as I'll get up, kind of walk on over, as I'll kind of wait for her to kind of put him in my arms, because I've never held a kid before. I have no clue what I'm really doing.
As she follows you over and scoops the baby out and passes Cooper into your arms. It's awkward at first, cradling the child, but eventually it settles. He settles into your arms, your son. And while he is a mix of you and her, that reminder of your brother does hurt, but also heals just a little. Maybe this is a second chance. Maybe this is another opportunity.
As I'm cradling him, I kind of bring him close to my face, as I'll just whisper, "I'm sorry," as I'll just kind of hug him a little tightly. And I'm not even sure if I'm saying that to my brother or to him.
As you hold the child and say those words, the stink that usually goes with the braid fades away. As the shame granted by the spirits vanishes and the renown is restored. Honor is restored. Actions mean more than intentions. Bradley's actions proved that he was more than just a deadbeat. This is where our story comes to a close this evening, but not without one last scene. We're still at the hotel, the motel. We're out on the street. Stands Stakes. She sniffs the air on point towards the motel room. Her kin-seeking powers activated. For a new kin has been triggered. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everyone watching at home. A big thank you to Nori and Champ for reprising their roles. Hellhounds is off to the races and will be returning to Hell in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned and come back here next Friday at 7 p.m. and tune in to Rage Across Tampa on Tuesdays over on Twitch at 10 p.m. But for these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a lovely evening, everyone.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Hellhounds is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pact. The storyteller for Hellhounds is Kent. Tonight's characters were voiced by Jay, Lilith, Ben, Nikki, and Caity. Visit our website at stpetbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.